Ben Johnson's made his first two key hires of his staff, and they are really good ones. He has hired Antwaan Randle to be the receivers coach and the assistant head coach from the Detroit Lions. And he also hired Al Harris to be the defensive passing game coordinator and I believe defensive backs coach as well. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears news update video, which I've been doing anytime the Chicago Bears news going on. And yeah, Ben Johnson's currently in the process of building his first staff with the Chicago Bears, and he still has to find a OC and a DC. It seems like the DC is going to be Dennis Allen, according to multiple reports, but that has not been official just yet. But they're hiring some positional coaches first, it seems like, and these two hires, guys, are really good hires according to basically everybody around the NFL. Okay, the first one, I'll talk about this first, but Antwaan Randle coming over from the Detroit Lions, poaching from Dan Campbell's staff. This is a massive hire, okay, because he's also the assistant head coach, as you can see by his title. So he's going to be very key in terms of, like, you know, relaying information to Ben Johnson, helping Ben Johnson come up with the game plans, helping him coach the entire team, and also coaching the receivers as well, because he's been a fantastic receivers coach for the Detroit Lions over the past couple seasons. And let me tell you guys a little bit more about his coaching career and also his playing career as well. So Antwaan Randle is pretty local. He actually grew up in Riverdale, Illinois, went to high school in Harvey, went to college at Indiana. So, you know, knows the area, knows the Chicago area for the most part, and he was a second-round pick in 2002. He played for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Washington Redskins, had a pretty nice career. He actually won the Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was first-team All-Pro in 2005, so had, you know, decent amount of success being a receiver in the NFL, but then he became a coach in 2019 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the offensive assistant coach. And they actually won the Super Bowl that year with Tom Brady. So he has experience working on a championship level staff as both a coach and a player. He won Super Bowls as both a coach and a player, which I think is pretty cool. And, you know, with the Buccaneers, guys, like, he coached up some pretty good players there. The Buccaneers had a loaded roster. And yes, he was only an offensive assistant, not really having a defined role as just a specific coach, but still gained a lot of valuable insight there from head coach Bruce Arians and working with guys like Tom Brady. And then he went to the Detroit Lions in 2021 when he was hired by Dan Campbell to be the receivers coach, and he's done a fantastic job with the receivers in Detroit. If you look at the receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown has blossomed into being one of the best receivers in the entire NFL. He wasn't a high draft pick. He was a round 4 pick, so he had to be coached up and developed, and I'm sure Amon-Ra St. Brown has a lot of good things to say about this coach. He also coached up a guy like Jameson Williams, who struggled massively at the beginning of his NFL career with some, you know, off the field issues with, you know, the gambling suspension and all that and not being focused enough. But last year, Jameson Williams had a fantastic season. He made a lot of big-time plays throughout the entire season. There's a bunch of other receivers on the Lions roster also throughout those years that have had a good amount of success. I think the best thing about him is that he has such a fiery and intense personality. Like, he's always going to bring the energy to the Chicago Bears coaching staff. And I think that having a guy like that, you know, with Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson has more of a calm and stoic personality in some ways, where I think it's cool to have a guy like, you know, Antwaan Randle to kind of balance that and, you know, bring the fire, bring the passion to, you know, to the players and to the coaching staff, and also help these receivers as well, guys, because, you know, Rome Odunze still has a lot to learn at the receiver spot. He's such a talented receiver, but last year there were some times where he did not have the, you know, proper focus sometimes, or was running the wrong routes, or, you know, maybe just not on the same page with Caleb Williams. And, you know, DJ Moore is a guy that's super talented. He's already been a star receiver in the league, but last year he did not have a very good year, at least to DJ Moore standards. And, you know, Keenan Allen, if he comes back, you know, I'm sure he could really appreciate having a veteran leader like a Antwaan Randle in the receiver room to coach them up. So overall, guys, I'm a pretty big fan of this move. It seems like everybody around the NFL is saying a lot of good things about this coach and saying he could be a potential OC eventually, potentially a head coach in the future. And he is being the assistant head coach here with the Chicago Bears. So he's getting a pretty nice promotion, I would say, probably a pay raise too. So hopefully he can bring a lot of good things to the Bears receiver room and also to the entire team. But talking about the next coach we hired, Al Harris, this is a coach that Cowboys fans are very bummed to see leave. I was checking the comments on Twitter, and all the Cowboys fans were kind of in shambles that they're losing such an important coach on their team, and they're obviously losing him because the entire staff has been let go. Mike McCarthy is no longer there, so presumably the offensive and defensive staff are no longer going to be there with the Cowboys. And let's talk more about his history as a player and a coach in this league. So Al Harris got drafted by the Buccaneers in 1997. He played there for a couple seasons, went to the Eagles after that, and then found a home with the Green Bay Packers, where he actually was a multi-all-pro player for the Packers and also in the Packers Hall of Fame. So a very talented football player. He made a lot of big-time plays for the Green Bay Packers, and he's transitioned very nicely into being a good coach in the NFL too. He started out coaching with the Miami Dolphins in 2012 as a coaching intern. Then he went to the Chiefs in 2013 to be assistant secondary and defensive assistant. Then he got a promotion to assistant secondary coach, got another promotion to secondary and cornerbacks coach. And then he actually went to college to FAU to be a defensive assistant. And then he had a lot of success with the Dallas Cowboys, being the defensive backs coach from 2020 to 2023, and then getting a promotion to assistant head coach last year. That's how highly Mike McCarthy thought of him and how highly the entire Cowboys roster thought of him. Okay, if you talk to the Cowboys players, based on what I'm reading online, they absolutely love this dude. Okay, that's why he was an assistant head coach. He's a guy that players want to run through brick walls for, and a guy that can really motivate, his players and develop his players. Okay, you guys saw Trevon Diggs develop very nicely under the tutelage of a guy like Al Harris, even a guy like Deron Bland as well. I mean, the Cowboys' entire secondaries had a bunch of big-time playmakers over the past couple seasons, guys that can get their hands on the football, make the ball go the other way. So pretty excited about this hire. The Cowboys are actually second in the NFL in interceptions with 82 since 2020 when Al Harris joined the Cowboys staff. So clearly has been, coaching these guys up very well. They're really, getting the knack of turning the ball over. That's something that the last coach, Eberflus, really stressed as well. But it seems like Al Harris is also going to bring that mentality to the Chicago Bears. So let me know what you guys think about these coaching hires in the comments down below. Personally, I'm big fans of them. It seems like everybody across the league has good things to say about these men. The players also have good things to say about them, and they've had a good amount of success coaching with their previous teams. So really excited to get this veteran leadership and more just, talented coaches on this coaching staff for Ben Johnson. And a lot more hires are to come, guys. Like, we still need the OC, a DC, obviously, and more positional coaches as well. So it's going to be a lot of videos coming in the coming weeks. But leave your comments down below, guys. As always, bear down.